So it is 6:30. I'd like to welcome you all to the Wednesday, March 18th Cedarburg School Board meeting. And I'd like to just give a special shout out to our future leaders, our current school leaders from Webster Middle School. And we're happy that you're here. I just want everyone to know that if during the meeting, it's a long meeting, we totally understand if after your portion is complete that you need to leave. We understand your homework or work or other things. So I just want to point that out. So with that being said, this is a regular meeting of the Cedarburg School Board and is a public meeting. Prior notices have been placed in the district and additional copies were forwarded to the city and town of Cedarburg, as well as the news graphic and pledge and Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Dr. Clark, do you want to take over for the consent agenda?
With regards to the consent agenda, board members, I ask that you approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on February 18th, 2026. The budget and finance report, which includes the summary of accounts, check register, check detail, and credit card transaction reports. And the personnel report. Mr. Grosso, Director of Human Resources, will provide a brief overview of the personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. We have a number of items that we're seeking board approval this evening, starting with our separations. We have Nikki Sell, who resigned, special ed teacher at CHS, Abby Lord, 6th grade math teacher at Webster, Nicole Stock, building sub at Thorson, Kathleen O'Connell, who's retiring, math teacher at CHS, and Jen Abrahamson, a 2nd grade at Westlawn. We have a transfer. Special ed teacher Matt McDonald is transferring from Webster up to CHS. And then lastly, we're seeking board approval for our new Director of Services, Lisa Paulin, who is joining us here tonight.
Okay, and with that, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I wasn't quite quick enough, but turn that off.
Can you hear me? Yeah, great.
So I wasn't quite quick enough. I was actually just going to ask Mr. DeRosa questions. So we already have a motion on the floor. We have a second already. This is discussion, not necessarily questions. So I'm struggling. Okay. I think I'll actually just make a statement and then we're fine. So I reviewed all of these hires, transfers, and of course, the position that you're, Liz or Mrs. Paulin is up for. And I did speak with Jeremy about that specific position, had questions about how the hiring process was different this time around than in the past for that position. I'm satisfied with the differences that the district brought on in bringing that position along. However, I'm going to be voting no this evening, and it is nothing personal. And Dr. Clark can answer any questions that you may have or you may have regarding that vote.
Okay, is there any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye. Opposed? Nay. Abstentions? The consent agenda is approved or passed 610. Thank you.
Lisa, is that okay?
Yeah.
Lisa,
Thank you all. It is an honor to be here this evening at the board meeting, and I thank the board for appointing me the next Director of Student Services in the School District of Cedarburg. I just wanted to say I am very excited to work collaboratively with staff, students, and families to help meet the needs of all of our students. And I am eager and excited to start my work this summer. Thank you all for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. My glasses, so let's read these things. In terms of superintendent's report, I'd like to begin this evening by extending my thanks to school board member Kate Erickson. Elected in April of 2023, Ms. Erickson has decided not to run for re-election, making this her last regular school board meeting. During her term, she served as the Personnel and Finance Committee, the Negotiations Committee, and also served as the district's CESA 1 representative. She also holds other educational roles, including president of Wisconsin Indian Education Association, an appointed member of the State Superintendent's Academic Standards Review Committee, and the DPI Teacher of the Year Committee. Additionally, she assists with DPI Act 31 initiatives, has contributed to writing and editing curriculum for several Wisconsin school districts, and was part of an Emmy-winning educational programming team at Wisconsin PBIS. As part of past and current school board members can confirm, serving on the school board requires time and dedication. As superintendent, I am truly honored to work with individuals dedicated to leading our community's educational initiatives and who willingly contribute their time and energy. Ms. Erickson, it has been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you the best in future endeavors. Thank you for your service on the Cedarburg School District Board of Education. Here is a small token of our appreciation. Careful, this falls off.
Thank you.
Do you want to stand up and take a picture here? Sure. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, I want to thank you for your past 3 years. Thank you very much, Kate. We will miss you. I'll just add really quickly. Something's been on my mind, this acronym THINK, THINK. Do you guys know what that is? Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it insightful? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And when I think of Kate Erickson, I'm incredibly grateful that she ran twice for this seat. She lost the first time, she kept going, she ran again because she cared so much about our district. She kept serving despite great personal loss, despite health concerns, because she loves all of our students, cares about our district, and is one of the most steadfast leaders that I have the privilege of sitting next to and sharing the screen with when my screen is not working. I'm grateful to have been inspired by the thoughtfulness that she brings to her decision making, and our district is the better for her being a member on this board. I also think it's really important to acknowledge that this is the first time in a long time that the Cedarburg School Board has had so many women representatives. That's not nothing. And even though my son is not feeling the greatest and is sitting in the front for like 10 minutes, it is really important for him to be able to see this board as a collective, because this is the last time it will look like this. So Kate, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Dr. Clark, thank you. Laura, thank you as well. That's it. I shouldn't take this because we're showing this one as well.
Thank you. Next, we have the pleasure of learning how the Webster Middle School Student Council positively impacts the Webster community. Mr. Dan Reiner, principal, is here to introduce his team.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Good evening, school board. It is my honor to present our 25-26 Webster Student Council. And with that, I'm going to introduce our two advisors, Ms. Jillian Mick and Ms. Elizabeth Young.
Good evening. I am Jillian Mick. I am the German teacher at Webster, but I've also been the student council advisor for the last 3 years. This is my co-advisor.
I am Elizabeth Young. I'm the French teacher at Webster, and this is my first year as the co-advisor. See, I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. Student council.
And we have 8 wonderful leadership members who have come to present about their experience on the student council. We have 7 of them present tonight, and they're going to share some details about some of the activities that they partake in and lead and direct at our school.
No.
So, a couple of roles that Mrs. Young and I fulfill are coaching the students through meetings, organization, communication. How do they effectively become leaders and how do they develop those leadership skills? We also provide advice and mediate discussions whenever problems arise or disagreeing ideas may come up. So we coach them how to work through those, compromising and making sure everyone feels heard. And then we also do a lot of behind the scenes work, so a lot of paperwork, communication with administration, just making sure things run smoothly, communication with teachers, and with community members who may want to know what is going on at the school.
Yeah.
Here are our leadership team members. They will come and introduce themselves as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm Claire Pete. Oh, I was going to say my last name. Hi, I'm the president of Student Council for this school year, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lenora McLean, and I'm in 8th grade, and I'm Student Council's vice president.
Hello, I'm Kaylee. I'm Student Council's secretary, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Logan. I'm the treasurer, and I'm also in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Mia O, and I'm the media coordinator, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Sebastian, and I'm the 7th grade representative, and I'm in 7th grade.
The members who are not here tonight are Kylan D, and she's our 8th grade representative, and Chase B, and he's our 6th grade representative.
In our student council, we have a total of 44 members. Our most members come from our 6th grade, which is 18. We have 13 from our 7th grade class and 12 8th graders.
Our Webster Student Council mission: 1, to develop student involvement and increase school spirit, school connectedness, and school culture. 2nd, to encourage good citizenship. 3rd, to provide opportunities for leadership. 4th, to contribute to the total growth of all students, staff, and administration. 5th, to promote good lines of communication between students, staff, and administration. 6th, to help serve the school and community and help provide a safe environment and fun for all the students.
Our student council meetings happen approximately twice a month throughout the school year. We use this time to reflect on previous events that have already happened, prepare for current events, plan for future events, discuss budgets, and most importantly, voting on important decisions to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. We have two dances throughout the school year at Webster: the Haunted Halloween Hop and the Spring Fling. During the 2025 Halloween dance, we profited $750. Tickets were $3 and snacks ranged from around $1 to $5. Student council is in charge of choosing the theme, name, and setting up decorations for the dance. Dances provide a safe, fun experience for students to hang out with friends at school and to just have fun.
Here's a little bit about the movie nights. The movie nights are free for every student at Webster. We have 1 indoor in the winter and 1 outdoor in the spring. The Webster students get to vote on which movie they would like to watch. Concessions are sold to students at varied prices. It is one of the most memorable and fun events for the Webster students.
This past year, we raised over $2,500 to buy toys for the Capico Kids to Kids Toy Drive.
Each candy cane students could purchase for $1 each.
And this past year, we had many different flavors for students to choose from. Increases their involvement. This past year, we've had Sour Patch. We've had chocolate and cinnamon, and of course, regular peppermint. So we have the Valentine's Day candygrams. We sell candygrams with messages on them during our lunchtime, and we pass them out during homeroom, which is during pod time, our second hour. And then our options this year were candy hearts for $1, lollipops for $2, rubber ducks for $3, and chocolate roses for $4. This year, we raised the money for the Ozaki Food Alliance, which was an option from one of our students. That was 50% of our sales. for an eighth grade America trip, which was 25% of our sales, and a treat for the whole school, which was the other 25% of our sales.
Overall, we just want to say thank you for your support and for listening to us today.
Do you have any questions?
I wrote down a lot, but I always talk a lot. So you guys always want to. Okay. I'm curious. Oh, sorry. I'm curious for the event planning, how long it takes for each of the events. And then I was also curious for the elected positions, how if there were more than one person who was interested in being president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. And then I'm also curious for when we were talking about how the candy cane sales, you offered different flavors. I thought that was a great idea. So was that something that came up this year as something new, or was that done in the past and expanded? Those are the three I wrote down in case others had others.
The first one was about like the planning, right? Like how we plan different events. So it kind of depends on the event. Like, so our upcoming one, we have our spring dance and our spring movie night. We probably will only have 1 or 2 meetings to plan both of the events. So usually I feel like per event we have 1 meeting to like fully get it set up and fully planned out. But like if we want like a full out great experience, I feel like we usually have 2 meetings and we get it really wrapped up and well done.
And also during those meetings, we collaborate with our other students and student council to make sure that we're actually getting ideas from the student body and making sure that the dances are actually like fun and not just something that you have to like go to.
And then your second option about the elective positions. So there were actually a lot of kids I feel like that went out. So we all had to fill out an extra form and we gave it to our advisors. And then we also had to create a slideshow and present it to like the rest of the student council. And then they voted on us and our advisors got the final say. And we're happy that it turned out the way it did.
And then finally for the candy cane sales, there's been a variety of like candy canes in general for a while, but I think it really did help boost our sales because I like myself, I buy them. Like it's a really fun opportunity, and for the student council, it gives us like great opportunities to learn how to like work with money and sales, and it's just really great overall. Thank you.
I had a question. Yeah, I had a question. I think from talking to your principal at past meetings about student council is also involved in the homeroom for some of the classes, right? Did we talk about that in the past years? No?
No.
No. I thought that some of those homerooms were
Student ambassadors.
student ambassadors. Okay, well then I have a different question. Thank you. My question is, what has been your favorite event to lead this school year?
Personally, for me, it was the Hunt Halloween Hopper Halloween dance. And it's because this year we tried out something new. We set up one of our hallways, we put up decorations, we hired high school volunteers to like jump out and scare people. And for me, just working this was really fun because I just got to like hang out with my friends all night. I mean, there was a big long line, but it was really fun. So I'd say the dance.
I would say for me, all the years I've really enjoyed doing the Halloween dance. That one I like a lot. But I also like doing candy canes because we get to go around and it's also fun to like sell the candy canes, but then also to buy all the stuff and see how much we get for all the like kids to kids, like children that receive all the presents and all that sort of stuff. And I have fun during the night when we're like stuffing it all into the car, all having in the giant line, and that's like really fun. I mean, I haven't been like Target for the last 5 minutes trying to get like $200 more worth, but oh well, it was still fun.
Thank you.
I also really enjoy Candy Canes. It's one of the events where we get the most interaction from our students. So it's really cool to see all the students kind of joining in to help donate and raise money for a good cause. My favorite event would probably have to be the Halloween dance. Just seeing all the kids hanging out with their friends. It's really memorable and fun for all the students.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do you want to ask yours? Go ahead.
I just want to say, as a kid who did student council in elementary school, middle school, and high school,
I have to applaud you all for taking the chance and joining student council, whether you're an officer or not. I am sure there have been quite a few moments where you wanted to wring each other's necks and things weren't going right. And maybe there's sometimes you wish you had more volunteers because you're cleaning up a lot by yourself, or maybe, you know, some of the things you don't get many thank yous or recognized, but understand that what you're doing is building community in the school. And that's a huge thing. And the skills that you're learning from taking on these roles are going to benefit you for years to come. You may end up in an elected position someday. So I'm very, very proud of you. And hopefully you continue on to student council at the high school for those of you who are 8th graders.
Thank you. And I say that on behalf of all the leadership. We really appreciate everything you do for the school district.
I have one final question for you guys. You mentioned membership, and I wrote down the numbers, but my writing's not amazing. Do you have something you would say to a student who's not a member of student council to help convince them to become a member of student council?
Like probably be like say to them, yeah, and make them join.
Not make them, but like encourage them.
I'd say like we help build community not only in the school but also within the student council itself. Like one of my best memories is cleaning up dances with my friends after school hours and just hanging out, because like it's just so fun, and being able to plan these things really gives you like so much like purpose, and it really makes you feel like you're helping the school a lot.
I agree with Honora on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback a little on what Kate said. Thank you very much. It's not easy to put yourself out there to be a leader in your school, especially middle school. And I'm sure there's higher expectations, you know, for you from your peers and your teachers probably. And just thank you for all the time and effort you put into it. We really applaud you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes our superintendent's report for tonight. And again, as Ms. Strobel said earlier, feel free to stay if you want, but you don't have to.
So it is time for public comment. We do not have anyone signed up to speak. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, then we will move on to recommendations. Dr. Clerk.
All right, this evening we will be presenting 6 recommendations to the board. The first recommendation is seeking board approval for the occupational and physical therapy contractual agreement with Rehab Resources for the 2026-27 and 2027-28 school years. Rehab Resources has provided OT-PT services to the district for the past 2 years, and we have been very pleased with their services. Rehab Resources bills us for their services hourly based on student needs. The hourly cost for occupational therapy services is $7 per hour and $76 per hour for physical therapy services. So I'm looking forward to
All right, do I have the motion to approve the occupational therapy and physical therapy contract with Rehab Resources for the 26, 27, and 27, 28 school years?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
The next recommendation is seeking board approval for the 2027 to 2032 athletic training contract with Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin currently provides the district with our trainer services, and we have been greatly pleased with our working relationship with them. This contract will continue our current arrangement through 2032. In addition to the free trainer services, Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin also provides an annual $10,000 donation to the district that supports CHS athletics. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board by the Personnel and Finance Committee. And Kim Zavo, Director of Business Services, is here to answer any questions.
Do you just want to add why this contract is going out to 2032? I thought that might be interesting.
Yep, so the current contract is a 5-year contract. Our athletic director, John Hannum, reached out to me, knowing that some different area districts are having a little bit of an issue getting their athletic directors, and he wanted to be able to reach out to OHAU, who does a great job right now, and just make sure that our relationship was going to continue as planned. And they said, yeah, we'd love to sign, a contract for going forward. And John was like, it's going really well. We're really happy with this. So we both looked it over, made minor changes, which we reviewed at PNF, and said, we'll continue with this for 2032. I'm very happy with the $0, actually a donation contract. So we wanted to jump on that when they provided that to us.
Okay. All right, I will take a motion to approve the contract with Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, with that, all those in favor of approving the contract with Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, our next recommendation is seeking board approval for the 2-year contract extension addendum with Right Way Bus Service. In the proposal, there is a CPI increase established as 2.63% for this year, or $40,000 for the 2026-27 school year, and a yet to be determined amount for the 2027-28 school year. Additionally, there would be a fee for the district to maintain the $10 million of insurance coverage of $25,000 for the 26-27 school year, and $30,000 for the 27-28 school year. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the Personnel and Finance Committee. Kim Zabel, Director of Business Services, is here to answer any questions.
Okay, I will take a motion to approve the 2-year contract extension addendum with Right Way as presented.
So moved.
I will second. Any discussion?
I do have some discussion. As we discussed at PNF, I guess I'm questioning the district paying for the additional rider of insurance that the bus company will be carrying. For a little bit of background for those not at PNF, there's been a move in the industry in area districts to move to 5 million rather than 10 million rider for insurance. And to be clear, that's insurance that the bus company carries, not the district. And if I'm correct, the change in this is due to the cost of insurance as well as the history of claims not going over 5 million. Is that correct, Kim?
Yep, I did ask Right Way to confirm that. I haven't heard back from them on the has there ever been a claim in Wisconsin over 5 million, and he was going to look into it, but he didn't confirm that before today. So
Okay. And I know we discussed the next contract, it would not even be an option to go to 10, it would be at 5. And so I have a little bit of pause in having the district cover this cost for the next 2 years.
So the total cost is $55,000 for.
over 2 years for the additional require. So to keep in our contract that we require them to maintain $10 million in insurance.
I heard Paul say what he said, but Kate, were you finishing something? I couldn't tell.
I started saying something.
Okay, I'm sorry. I heard something down that way. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a similar question to Paul, so just so I have this correct. So the previous contract we signed already had the $10 million of insurance coverage in it that Right Way paid for. Was it kind of like already bundled into the contract? It wasn't like a separate fee that the district had to pay to get to that 10 million, but it sounds like the industry's moving to 5 million. And in order for us to maintain that 10 million that we had in the previous contract, we would have to cover that portion, right? And then for the 5 million, right, you have to pay extra to meet that $10 million.
Yeah, we're not technically covering it. So Right Way, by means of negotiation, is saying if you maintain that $10 million policy in our agreement. So our current agreement requires liability insurance at $10 million, and in order to maintain that current agreement, this addendum states that we will pay them CPI 2.63 plus $25,000 the first year, and then CPI plus $30,000 the second year. Now,
that then maintains the $10 million and in 2 years from now continues our discussion about $10 million going forward. If we were to say, no, we don't want that in there, we don't want to pay the extra, you can leave the addendum to say we only require you to maintain $5 million in coverage. Then we don't pay the extra. However, while Rightway, the way their insurance works, while Rightway still has that on other contracts, on other neighboring contracts that they also have in their fleet, they still have to maintain the $10 million. So until they get all of their contracts out of that $10 million clause, then they maintain $10 million for everybody. So even those districts who are only requiring $5 million now actually have the $10 million in coverage.
So we would still have the 10 million in coverage while other.
Yeah, it's not we, but so let's say they went and renegotiated every contract tomorrow, that would be okay, but, and we passed only the 5 million, we wouldn't have any requirement for them to maintain 10 million, so it's not up to us.
When, it says the industry is moving to that, is it more, right now I feel like Rightway is becoming a monopoly in this area. So I wouldn't say, is it the industry's moving to that or Rightway? Because of the monopoly they have, they're pushing it. They're taking away the options for the school districts to say, we would like this coverage. And they're coming back kind of and saying, this is what our coverage is going to be. I don't know. Can you kind of clarify?
Yeah, so I did ask all of southeastern Wisconsin and I did get varying answers as to what their coverage requirement was. So, but generally speaking, yes, a lot of business managers shook their heads. Yes, I've been asked that as well, to move from 10 to 5. Yep, we did that 2 years ago. Yep, whether or not we're with Rightway or not.
So being that our contract is similar to one of our closest neighbors, and that they also have 10 million as their requirement for the insurance, and going forward, working with that other district could be beneficial in terms of future negotiations. Would that maintaining 10 million now and then saying, okay, well, we'll agree to drop to the 5 million in the future, but maybe we want a reduction in the rates, or we want something for that, if that gives us an advantage, possibly.
Yeah, I can't speak to that in 2 years from now, but yeah, if I kind of think what you're saying is if we were to keep the $10 million requirement now, we would be able to continue that discussion and continue that negotiation in 2 years from now about whether or not we are comfortable dropping to the 5 or we really wanted to stay at the 10, or if there were other things that were more important to us then.
For me, this one is really a difficult decision, as we always really want to minimize spending, especially when prudent. And insurance is hard. I'm not an insurance expert in any way, and we're kind of it's a gamble somewhat. How much insurance do you want to take? Mm-hmm. I spoke with someone that I really greatly respect in the insurance field, and he gets it. He's like, yeah, you could spend this much, but you're okay at this. And, I talked to him about moving to 5 million, and his response was, man, that's not a whole lot of coverage for a catastrophic bus accident carrying a bunch of kids. Yes, we haven't seen that, but if you get that, 5 million is going to go fast. Mm-hmm. And I do feel, we do spend on safety things all the time that we hope will never come to fruition. And I hope we never see a catastrophic bus accident. I know we all do, so that's kind of silly for me to say. So that's where I'm really struggling on this. And I feel like we're, it's spending that extra money really to protect our families if there was something that happened. But it's just not. It's like, oh, sorry, we were trying to save money and we're down to 5 million. I don't know. What is our insurance advisor?
Yeah, they agree. The more coverage, the better. And it is in our budget. So when we originally budgeted right now, obviously we haven't passed a preliminary budget yet, but when we looked at the budget together at PNF in January, I budgeted 5% for transportation, kind of knowing this negotiation would take place. And so while 5% is beyond what we would want to pay, it is within our budget. We still can maintain a balanced budget while maintaining the $10 million insurance. So we are looking for ways at this moment in time to find that for this specific purpose.
So the CPI, is that just for increasing transportation costs, or is that CPI also due to the keeping the $10 million insurance policy?
So those are separate. So CPI is for the rates.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that has nothing to do with whether we keep the 10 million or not.
No, yep, and the way that it's written, we can opt into or out of that, excess liability differential. Mm-hmm. And we can even opt into it this year, and if budgets would become an issue next year, and this would be something we wanted to pull out, we could choose to do that as well.
Kim, it sounded like you had talked to other districts and what they were doing with their contracts and insurance. Did you get a feel for kind of like what was the most common amount of liability insurance for this?
Either 5 or 10, right? More. I didn't tally it, and I didn't, I didn't make sure I got a response from every single district that I asked, but right way out of all their districts, which they have a lot, they have 7 left that are still at that 10 million. The rest have gone down to 5 million.
So sounds like the majority of districts are at the $5 million amount, and that's kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you that definitively, but that was common, just as common, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there any other? Go ahead, Connie. So just so that I'm clear on this, the motion and the second is at the 10 million level, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for my comfort level, any more discussion of a different number would to me be a point of order or somebody offering an amendment. So if there's no further discussion, that's fine, it's a moot point. But if there's continued discussion, I would personally like to see that, if that's a direction people want to be going.
I would make a motion to approve the contract with the 5 million.
So you already have a motion.
You need to make
You have to make.
I mean, an amendment.
I would make a motion to amend the current motion to 5 million.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the contract extension with the insurance level at 5 million. Let's have discussion on that.
So one of the things that I brought up in the meeting, especially discussing that Grafton does have the 10 million and whatnot, is optics. And I agree with Laura. You have a catastrophic event, and with the amount of fatalities, 5 million will not cover. Period. It won't. And if we're really going to put 30,000 for 1 year and 25,000 for another year as not worth it, the optics of that does not look good for this school district. We pride ourselves on taking care of our kids and being safe. With the increasing cost of healthcare just in general in this country, treating children from any kind of catastrophic event, whether it's 1, 2, or a whole busload, is going to eat through $5 million quite quickly. And I think if, as a board, we want to send a message that we are actually concerned about the safety of our kids and want to protect our kids and our families as much as we can, trying to save this relatively small amount of money in the grand scheme of our budget gives a very bad look, in my opinion. And I am completely against dropping it down to the 5 million unless there is no other option for us to, go any other way, but that's a future issue. That's not a now issue.
So as far as the future issue is concerned, I think I understood that there will not be an option.
There may not.
May not.
Yeah, I would not guarantee that there is an option to stay at 10 million. And that's what they said to me. We won't guarantee that there isn't even an option to stay at 10 million in the next extension. Period.
At least said that they cannot guarantee that.
Right, so there may not be that option. Depends on how other things go.
I mean, and we may at some point go out for a RFP and look for other bus companies who may be more willing to do the 10 million. At least we could look for it and see.
Yeah, so I'll echo what our board president said at the start in her sharing that she spoke with a professional who does insurance. I really appreciate that input. I agree with board Board Member Erickson. I think our community has an interesting relationship with Right Way, and that's me putting it politely. So I think in any way where we can have some degree of leverage of maintaining this level while they're keeping it, let's keep it. That's it.
Okay, is there further discussion? All right, I will call a vote on the amendment to approve the 2-year contract extension addendum, but moving the insurance coverage to $5 million. All those,
Could you do a roll call vote on this one?
sure. Dr. Savaji,
No.
Mrs.
Sharpland?
Yes, I know. Aye. Mrs. Netzel? Aye. Laura Strobel, nay. Miss Erickson? No. Miss Kincaid? Nay. Mr. Demchuk?
Aye.
So that addendum fails 4-3. So then we'll go back to the original motion to approve the 2-year contract with extension addendum with Right Way as presented. Do we want further discussion on that?
Thank you for all your work on this. I know it's a lot of back and forth between different districts, and it just is a lot of work, so thank you for it.
Well, again, I appreciate everyone's opinion on this. This is a really hard one, and I don't think there's a right and wrong answer on this. It's just a really difficult. I don't think anyone really likes to pay for insurance, and I don't think anyone has the magic ball as to what coverage should be. So I do really appreciate the discussion we've had here as a board. Anything else? Okay, with that, I will take a vote on approving the 2-year contract extension addendum with Right Way as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. Abstentions? Paul, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your vote.
I said aye.
Okay, so that motion passes 5-2. Thank you.
All right. The next recommendation is seeking board approval for the Webster Middle School food service line bids as presented. Kim is here to provide an overview of the bids and answer any questions.
Thank you. So I'll, I have the clicker here. I'll move to this slide where we've outlined a similar chart that you've seen before in updates. We've talked to both the P&F committee and the B&G committee about this item and the next item. So this item is the Webster Middle School food survey line, and it will essentially build a half wall where the current food service equipment is now, and replace some of the outdated or even not working equipment. And so as part of the budget here, which is a total of $275,000 and is fully funded by the Food Service Fund, Fund 50, so it's separate from our General Education Fund. We ask the board to approve the bids. And so in the board packet, you see the full details of all the bids. This is a federally funded project. And so, wanted to make sure you had all the details and went through all the approvals that were required for those funds. The larger items are the CGS is C.G. Schmidt, our construction manager, which you'll remember we approved months ago along with the architect, which is Growth. And then you'll see here the different winning bids. We made sure we had bid coverage in every one of the larger areas. So millwork, drywall, and painting. Food service is one of the largest things. That's the food service equipment. That's fine as a food service equipment provider. So the stainless steel warmers and serving pans and all of that. Plumbing, electrical, flooring, ceiling, and HVAC are the larger items. So any questions on that, or I would be happy to.
What's their contingency fund for projects of this scope?
Typically, so it's on that. This one is a pretty simple project, so our contingency is smaller than the next project that you'll see. Oh, I can't throw it on. Oh, there it is. Construction contingency on this project is $7,000.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure whether I could, I see that on our side, but I don't know if that's public knowledge. So.
Yeah, no, it's
For
right.
the time, okay.
what's the thought process behind that 3%?
So it's a really small project, actually. It's pretty cut and dry. And we have, so our budget right now, and I'm trying to maintain a tight budget for this, is $275,000. We do have additional fund balance. So if there would be something that came up, water through the floor, we would, hopefully not, but we would come back to the board and let the board know that something came up that was big. But again, we talked to them about the contingency fund here. They're pretty confident in what they see. A lot of the subcontractors are people who've already been here.
Yeah.
And know the building, and Rick's pretty confident with these numbers as well.
I think the other part is, it sounds like they're doing major tearing down walls. So it's pretty much there. They can see what they have. They're not going to find, unknown things like you get when you tear down walls.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we are kind of waiting on is electrical, as they tear into the walls and look at electrical and just make sure that we have the right panels for that. But that the upgrade is in the quote, and so there might even be savings as well. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. And for those who haven't seen Webster's cafeteria in action, this is needed. You all do a great job with what you've got, but this is definitely going to improve things. And the fact that money out of this fund can only go to food service is huge. And I think it's a very excellent way of spending that money down, making things a little more efficiently for our middle schoolers.
Yeah, we have shared the renderings with the board, and we think that it's going to look pretty slick. And it is, food service is working right now. It is operational, but we're definitely hopeful that it will draw more attention to healthy food choices for middle school students.
Do you think this would be helpful for the student council and all their sales and stuff when you guys do the movie nights and whatnot? Maybe more money coming in.
Dan wanted a hand sink, and we are able to keep the hand sink in the budget, so we are very excited. Yes.
Good, make them run. I think the biggest addition right now, there's no line for them to take their trays through, right?
Right, yeah, that whole thing, you see them, because I watch them, they just walk through balancing their trays, and it's simple things like the water filler doesn't work, the bubbler doesn't work, and so we're replacing that, and like I said, adding a hand washing sink so they can wash their hands while under supervision inside the cafeteria instead of having to go back. So hopefully that will help their supervision and just overall experience.
So we haven't taken a motion yet, have we? So I will take a motion to approve the Webster Middle School food service line bids as presented.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I forgot to ask for the summer 2026. Is any of this during summer academy or is it?
Yep, so we've talked to, before we even got the project started, we brought CG Schmidt in, and as they were kind of doing their walkthrough to bid on the construction manager portion of it, we talked to them about portable, like the zip, the tarp walls that you can zip open and close so that they keep their mess to a minimum. They know when our summer school schedule is, and they're going to work around that as much as possible with contractors there who are just working inside of that zone if any students are there. So we have talked with Summer Academy about that, and we'll work through that.
Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the Webster Middle School food service line bids as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, the next recommendation, keeping in line with building, is seeking board approval for the Cedarburg High School Culinary Arts Career Center bids as presented. Again, Kim is here to provide an overview of the bids and answer any questions.
So again, we have listed for you the major subcontractors in this bid package. This total budget currently is at $426,507, and that is hopefully fully funded by fundraising, which we have discussed before. CG Schmidt is on top, and their cost will be reduced by $34,000 grant that they originally let us know that we could use to go towards their fees. So that will help offset those fees. A number of these items are also like the flooring, a portion of that will be donated, and so we have that offset on the revenue side. But here, these are the actual bids as presented to us. The largest one, of course, again, is Fine, again, doing food service, and that's those commercial level appliances that we are putting in to the teacher station to get that commercial grade look and feel for the teaching of that ProStart class.
Do we have an update on the fundraising?
We raised $250,000. I wanted to. No, I won't check to see today. Jordan has it refreshing. No other updates other than that.
We do have to guarantee another 25,000 coming.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
275 at this point.
And then there are also two large donation packages out there that we're working with that would cover this completely. And those are big dollar amounts that individuals are working through. So,
Thank you.
Because I just want to thank both Rick and Kim, and Dr. Savaji can attest as the chair of the B&G, the amount of detail that the both of them go into. It's not like the contractors just come in and say, oh, this is what, here are the pictures. You guys really look at every level of piece of equipment, whatever is going in there, and really think it thoroughly through as to how this would be used. And really looking, you have a hard board who's always going to ask, well, can we cut this? Can we cut this? And they're always very respectful of that. I appreciate that. I think we all do. So anyway, with that, I will take a motion to approve the CHS Culinary Arts Center bids as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Exciting.
All right, all those in favor of approving the CHS Culinary Arts Center bids as presented, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, the last recommendation this evening is for the board to approve donations to the district. This month, we have a $10,000 donation from Randy Grove to support the CHS robotics program, and a $10,137 donation from Thorson PTO to purchase playground equipment for the Thorson Elementary School. Total donations for March are $20,137. The total donations for the 25-26 school year are $608,041.38.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the donations to support the instructional and programmatic needs of Cedarburg School District?
Also, second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Thank you to our generous donors.
Yes. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That vote passes 7-0. And now we will move into the committee reports, which again, I will always say our chairs do a great job with their committees and their reports. They're very robust committee meetings, and we really appreciate the feedback they provide here at the board as to what went on. So Dr. Savaji, do you want to start with the B&G?
Sure. Building and Grounds Committee met on February 25th. It was an especially robust meeting, so bear with me with the report here. We covered the 2026-27 facility use fees, which have not changed since last year. We went over the summer projects plan, which includes asphalt maintenance throughout the district, lines and other small repairs at CHS, painting the front canopy and replacing the gym doors at Webster, and cleaning and painting at Parkview and Thorson. No summer projects are planned for West Lawn, just regular maintenance. The famous CHS air handler project is going forward. The air handler has been ordered and is expected mid-July. Work will begin preparing in late June. Cooling service will be out for 3 to 4 weeks, but is expected to be up and running before school begins in the fall. We also covered the CHS Culinary Arts Career Center planning process, and we just talked about that, so I won't belabor that point. Likewise, we covered the Webster food service line planning process. I have to specifically thank Rick and Kim for all their work on the natural gas pricing, like really following and locking in to get the most advantageous price for the district. We discussed the electrical usage monitoring at the high school. So far, we've saved $41,000 since installing the data wrangler system, which more than makes up for the cost of installation and subscription. And the detailed information from data wranglers also allowed the district to defer over $55K from Fund 10 to Fund 50 for food service electricity costs. The building walkthroughs have been completed for the district facility study, and the written report on the building exteriors is in preparation. The interior report will follow. Working with Cedarburg Light and Power to develop a plan for the continued maintenance of district-owned fiber optic lines. I didn't know the district owned fiber optic lines, so that was enlightening. And our next B&G meeting will be on June 24th. I encourage everybody to attend. They're great meetings.
Thank you. And Mrs. Charlin, do you want to give us an update on the last curriculum committee meeting we had?
Yes, so we met on March 4th. And we had 3 informational topics that evening. The first was an update on the AP Business Resource. That's a new AP course that will be new in general, and it's new to the high school. And so the book they want to move forward with is from BFW, and it's currently the only resource that the College Board is recommending for this class, being that it's a new class, so they would like to purchase 2 sets. And if any board members would like online access, they can contact Allie, and we expect to vote on that at our next committee meeting. Similar topic, we discussed the personal finance resource. So there is a new course called Personal Finance. It will be launching next fall at the high school. It's a requirement by the state via Act 60 for every student who graduates to take a semester course in personal finance. And the book they want to go with for that is the McGraw-Hill Focus on Personal Financial Literacy. This is a new version of a textbook that the high school business department already uses for college personal finance. So it should be an easy transition to get the educators for this new course up and running. And there is 1 paper copy, I believe, for review, or there's online access for board members who'd like to take a look, and they plan on purchasing 4 class sets, and we will vote on that next month. And finally, Allie gave a 2026 through 27 curriculum cycle preview. So just kind of a high-level view of what curriculum will be reviewed in the next school year. This is something really beneficial that Allie has done since she's joined our district, to give both us as a board and the community just kind of a high-level view. So they will be reviewing, beginning review of middle school science, as well as high school biology, chemistry, and physics. Continue the review of elementary science, and algebra, high school algebra 2 resource consideration. So possibly look at a new resource for algebra 2, and then beginning review of K through 12 music and band. And our next meeting is April 8th.
Thank you. And Mrs. Netzel, we can wrap it up with the PNF committee meeting.
So Personnel and Finance, met on Wednesday, March 11th, and we had a lot of topics to cover. We had a finance presentation. A representative from Baird was present to discuss the financial position of our district. Our district currently has a AA1 credit rating, which is the 2nd highest available. It puts us in a very good position when we have to do short-term borrowing. We also discussed some scenarios where the district could potentially pay off debt early, and we'll discuss this a little further at upcoming board meetings later this spring. We also discussed the annual fund balance designations. This was an informational topic, and information was shared regarding money that's allocated to each fund in the budget as of 6/30/25. Specific information about this is available in board docs. We had a health insurance update, and at this time, our health insurance costs are below the revenue from premiums, so the district remains in a good position with being self-funded. We had a 25-26 budget update, again, informational. And while the budget we passed in October was balanced, we look at updates to see the variances between what was budgeted and what the cost the district actually is incurring now. Some areas that we are watching are the high cost special ed aid, the state special ed aid, and the mental health aid. We discussed the Right Way renewal, which we had some good discussion here tonight on. We also talked about the 26-27 school year personnel update. This was informational. Tony DeRosa provided a 5-year look at staffing. And there was some discussion about the changes that have been made over the course of the years and also what is anticipated next year. We discussed the athletic trainer contract, which we also voted on here tonight. We also discussed the unusually hazardous transportation plan, and this was an informational topic. There's currently a plan that the district has to file with DPI that outlines where students can receive busing based on whether it would be considered hazardous. The district looked at some areas in the city where neighborhoods have added sidewalks, and changes may be made to this plan since the last time it was reviewed. At this point, it may only affect high schoolers, and the current plan is under review by the sheriff before being sent to DPI. The last item was the 26-27 combined teacher and support staff handbooks. Again, informational topic. Mr. DeRosa provided an update on the process of combining these handbooks. And at this time, the first draft is complete and has been sent to legal for review. We have another meeting coming up on May 13th.
All right, thank you. And Kate, thank you once again and how about with on adjournment, you can gavel us out. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.